Hello and welcome to Business Now. I'm Malcolm Sime. This program is proudly supported by ABSA Bank Uganda, and as the bank reintroduces custody banking under its new campaign, empowering you investors with secure, seamless and efficient asset management solutions. On our CEO segment, we discuss what custody banking services mean for Uganda and Africa's capital markets, and we sit down in an exclusive interview with Musetsana Mahlafunya, the head of ABSA Bank Services for Africa Regional Operations. And on our second segment, we return to Uganda's most promising export, which is coffee, and we also visit the Inspire Africa Coffee Factory and Park as Chief Justice of Uganda flags off the fast track of finished coffee products for export. Plus, the Minister of Energy assured investors of a dedicated power connection from Ntungamo substation to support full-scale operations at the park. We wind up with Take Now and the news of MTN Uganda joining Milima Securities as platinum partners in the 6th edition of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. All that and more coming up on Business Now.
We facilitate the buying and the selling of those particular shares. And we ensure that those assets in the form of shares and alternatively cash through the banking structures are then held in safekeeping on behalf of clients.
And today, even with the advent of artificial intelligence, we have seen the evolution of threats that are now being powered by AI.
This is Business Now, but let's first take a look at some of the top business stories being hotly debated. A partial US government shutdown triggered by a congressional impasse over spending has unsettled markets worldwide. And while equity markets have so far shrugged off volatility, rising credit default swap spreads and delays in key economic data have raised nerves among investors. And the stakes and spillovers we have seen, our experts have told us, Pan-African sovereigns and corporates in international debt markets may face steeper yields if risk premiums widen and African currencies could weaken against a volatile dollar, inflating the cost of dollar-denominated liabilities. Oil-producing countries have announced a further increase of 137,000 barrels per day in oil output starting November, that's next month, adding to a year of gradual output expansion and the impact on African economies. More crude on the global markets may push down oil prices, threatening revenues for African oil exporters like Nigeria and Angola. Having said that, it means energy importing nations like Uganda could see a modest relief in fuel costs, though gains may be limited by local distribution inefficiencies. Let's come back home now. Uganda's annual inflation rose slightly to 4.0% in September, up from 3.8% in August. And according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, the figures we have received show the increase was mainly driven by higher food prices, with matoke, tomatoes and onions leading the surge. Core inflation remained steady at 4.0%, while energy and fuel costs eased. The Kampala's high-income households recorded the highest inflation at 5.7%, reflecting rising living costs in the city. This is Business Now. On our CEO segment, we unpack the custody banking services and what it means for Uganda and Africa's capital markets in a conversation with Musetsana Mahlafunya, the head of ABSA Investor Services for Africa Regional Operations. In our exclusive interview at the Serena Kampala Hotel, she speaks about custody banking as a safeguard for your assets such as shares, bonds, and other securities, ensuring secure settlement, reporting, and record keeping. She notes the initiative also works to build trust in the financial system, which attracts both local and foreign investors to the market.
Custody, in layman's terms, involves safekeeping of assets. I'll give you a real example. You have an individual that would like to invest or buy shares into a particular company. They would invest through a broker. That broker will execute the buying or the selling of that investment on an exchange. We are on the other side of the exchange. We facilitate the buying and the selling of those particular shares. And we ensure that those assets in the form of shares and alternatively cash through the banking structures are then held in safekeeping on behalf of clients. We do have very stern or operate in a very highly regulated environment simply because we are dealing assets on behalf of our clients. Our reintroduction really highlights the importance of Uganda to ABSA Bank. It also allows us to really tap into a global liquidity and attract investment locally. And that's a key role that we want to play. We are currently live in 6 markets outside of Uganda. We are live in South Africa, Mauritius, Kenya, Ghana, Botswana, Mozambique. Uganda is one of the markets that we felt we also needed to get into to attract the liquidity in order for us to become a regional provider. Investors both locally and globally are looking for a provider that can provide transparency, reliability, that can ensure that the safekeeping of the assets is aligned to the regulation in a particular market, including Uganda. They're also looking for a provider that is able to build trust, that considers risk as being key, particularly settlement risk. They're looking for a provider that provides ease of doing business. For us to attract flows into any market, investors needs to appreciate and be able to easily or seamlessly invest in a particular country. We have implemented technology capability that allows for full integration from when the trade is executed and instructions are sent to ourselves as custodians all the way through to industry. From a Uganda perspective, yes, integration is not yet in place, but we are ready from an ABSA Investor Services Uganda perspective to integrate once the industry is ready. We've also implemented a digital platform where clients can receive real-time information on the transactions that they've executed. They are able to reconcile all their transactions on a real-time basis. This allows them to really be confident and comfortable, one, with the risks that is associated with any transactions that they have, and secondly, to get a view of where the market is headed and where their transactions are sitting in the process. Lastly, we've implemented Market Insights Information System. That system provides information to our clients across the different markets, information on market-related activities, information that is key for investors to make better investment decisions. The pension fund assets actually provides a pool of long-term capital. And for that capital to be invested in a number of other asset classes, there needs to be comfort in the safekeeping of those assets. And that's what custody provides. Custody provides the assurance, the comfort to our clients and trustees that those assets will be safeguarded. So it would really open up opportunities for the pension funds, for the trustees to start investing in other asset classes, therefore attracting investment into the country, and most importantly, for our members to really benefit from those investments.
Let's talk agriculture now, because we take you to the Inspire Africa Coffee Factory and Park in Ntungamo, where the Chief Justice of Uganda flagged off the fast track of finished coffee products for export and showing government's efforts at promoting and supporting value addition. Meanwhile, the Minister of Energy, Ruth Nankabirwa, was part of the delegation and assured investors of a dedicated power line from a substation nearby to support full-scale operations at the park.
I think what we need to do is support our farmers, support people who come up to add value to our produce, and as a country, see our best to make inroads into world markets. We are told today that we have a window of opportunity. As an example, President Trump has claimed the 65% tax on Brazil. Ugandans is, I don't know what it is, but that gives us an advantage in terms of sending our coffee to all of the hard Nelson, the proprietor of this, saying there's the possibility of thriving in the market for the final product of coffee. In the Western world, the United States, we have inroads in the Joshua. We have possibility of inroads in China, and so on and so forth. We must, as a country, support those who have initiatives like this. We must support our farmers, the basic farmers.
I must say that we have put legislation in place. The problem is that we take so long to convince the legislators on an issue which you might think obvious. Talk about coffee, somebody only say, our coffee, don't touch. And yet such a facility will need raw material in order for it to survive. You need to pull, all the production to feed into such a facility. So legislation has been done. The problem has been that we take long to align ourselves, all of us, to support such, an industry. Then on power, I think if there is any docket that requires a lot of investment, it is energy. Because energy will support agribusiness, energy will support tourism, energy will support mineral development, energy will support science and technology. Sometimes we don't put in the money that is needed to construct the required infrastructure, like the substation that he just concluded at Nirama Hill substation. And that is the substation which is going to feed this factor. Already we've put money to put another transformer at the substation so that we can construct a dedicated line.
Now when I roast, I'll go to $25, $40. You see?
25 to 40.
$40. When you come to my coffee shop or any other coffee shop like Starbucks, out of 1 kilo, I'll get 120 cups. And if I was selling each cup at $2, I get $240 from a kilo.
And in Take Now, MTN Uganda has joined Milima Securities as platinum partners in the 6th edition of Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a national campaign led by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, which is to strengthen the country's digital resilience. This year's theme, Securing the Future, the rise of AI, focuses on new cyber risks linked to artificial intelligence as the country intensifies efforts to combat growing online fraud. And according to police data, cyber incidents cost Uganda over 72 billion Uganda shillings in 2024, with small businesses hardest hit. The month-long campaign will feature school outreaches, AI risk forums, and the East Con Cyber Security Conference later this month at the National ICT Innovation Hub.
We are at a time where technology has become central to all of our works, irrespective of what we do. This impacts the various sectors that we are working in, whether be it agriculture, health, transportation, finance, and all of these sectors in one way or another are increasingly facing the impact of cyber threats. We are seeing various forms of attacks that have been on the rise over the past year, just alone looking at mobile money fraud, looking at various forms of threats that are penetrating systems, looking at email fraud, phishing attacks, and today, even with the advent of artificial intelligence, we have seen the evolution of threats that are now being powered by AI, such as deepfakes, and such kind of threats have certainly led to significant losses both at individual levels as well as organizations. So besides the private partners, we are also working, of course, with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, who have continuously championed this campaign for the right cause, that they are the regulatory leaders, they are the policy makers, and their work cannot go overstated. Uganda has the National Digital Transformation Strategy, which was designed by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. From 2023, now in its third year running, this strategy, among many pillars, prioritizes cybersecurity and data privacy as a key pillar for success within the country. And so through such kind of awareness campaigns, we're able to drive user knowledge, help more people be aware of the threats, and then develop necessary skills on how to respond to these threats. We cannot ignore the fact that Uganda right now is entering a very politically charged season with several conversations that are going on the political scene, many of which will be emotionally amplified. We shall also see increased usage on increased online activity throughout the country. These kind of avenues create a hotbed for fraud and increased cyber threats. Many fraudsters will be taking advantage of the ongoing political season to create various forms of fraudulent messages, to open up new ways to defraud people. You will hear so-and-so's candidate is fundraising, send money to this land number. You're going to hear a certain MP has got an accident, let us send money to support them. Such kind of fraudulent messages, we must be alive to them. Besides that, there's also going to be generally increased cyber attacks, because financing of some of these campaigns, you will be shocked that they actually happen through cyber attacks. So when money is taken out from the system and given to these political actors, you find that there are losses there. So on our part, this is very important and very timely for us to create the right user awareness, to educate the masses about the various threats that they should be aware of, to help them to know what are the pinpoints. How do you determine a fraud? How do you know where a potential threat could come up from? When do you know that this message is true, and when do you know that this could be an AI message that has been created through what we call deep fake? Deep fake can be in form of audio or in form of video. Many of us will fall victims to the various forms of deepfake that we already see in the industry. Many of you have already gone on social media and you have seen a fake video of a certain political candidate maybe doing something, dancing to a certain song, or saying something that they didn't say. So these things go a long way in damaging our trust when it comes to technology. And once trust is broken, then we are going to take a step back when it comes to the success of our digital transformation. So this is why we are conducting the Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
And that's it for this edition of Business Now. You can catch all our stories again on NTV Uganda YouTube channel. And don't miss the repeat this Friday afternoon right here on NTV. You can also follow me, Malcolm Sime, on @X. Just tap the follow button to stay connected to the top business stories from around the world and back home. Business Now is proudly sponsored by ABSA Bank Uganda, which reintroduced custody banking services. Remember, you can visit any ABSA branch to learn how these services can work for you and your investments. Up next is NTV Tonight at 9 p.m. I'm Malcolm Sime. Thank you for watching, and as always, let's keep talking business the ABSA Bank way.